only flow where I have a keyword enabled flow where I can enter the keyword, and then if let's say I want to change the number of questions, I can change it. So let's say tomorrow I want to change this to 10, I can do that, and this value will change accordingly. But for now, this particular bot field value is set to 5. So now what happens is when you test the quiz in live, it will actually replace this value with 5. So maybe tomorrow if I change it to 10, this will show as 10. And irrespective of wherever this bot field is used in the flows, everywhere it will replace with that particular value. So it's very easy for me to maintain the flows so that there will not be any um, what do I call discrepancy in the number of questions and so on, right? So that's one tip you can note on. So yeah, once this is done, you get like yeah. So it's like basically we need the user to interact with the bot, right? So we are giving them the option: do you want to start the quiz or rules of the quiz? So rules, it's entirely up to you. You just define whatever you want. So I just kept it simple. I also said do not type anything. That's another option we have. We can actually disable the composer at that time, so that only the users can click on the button. Actually, I didn't implement that. That's a good point. Maybe I will implement it during live, right? Let's see if that works, right? And again, if you can see, if you answer all number of questions, so x is basically the bot variable here, right? So this is your, and then it goes to the next block saying like, are you ready? You have the button, and once, so in case somebody clicks on let's start, even here it actually comes here as well, right? So now what happens here is, so Q number is the custom field for question numbers, right? So for irrespective of whoever is playing that, for them, the value will be reset when the question starts, when the game starts, right? So I'm hard coding it to 1 to start with. And also I'm saying, let's go to this flow, get questions flow, right? So now get questions flow is where the actual magic happens. And this is another one of the reasons I wanted to show you the advantages of using a API based quiz or a Google Sheets based quiz. The thing is, you don't have to duplicate the questions and answers blocks multiple times. So I've seen many people doing that where they say they have 5 questions. So they'll just create 5 questions, answers, conditions, and all that stuff. Um, Technically, it's not required. You just need one flow here where this entire thing comes. It's I check for the correct answer and then you give the result, right? So basically, you do a loop, something like you do in computer programming for I equals 1, for I equals 2 kind of stuff, right? So that's the reason we having this value and custom field and this bot field are important, right? Because we are going to compare the custom field question number field with the bot maximum question number every time a question is shown, right? That's the logic behind that. And like I said, so doing the flow this way simplifies your flow. You don't have to build like repeat the blocks 5 times or 10 times. Now imagine if your flow has 20 questions, you might end up doing 20 blocks. So you don't have to do that. We just do it in a single flow here. So coming back to this flow, so yeah, you can see here, right? So it actually says question again. Everything is custom fields, so you don't have to worry about you missed something and all that stuff. So let's say when you're in question number 2, this will show question number 2. When it's question number 3, it will show question number 3, right? So now let's say this is the first time the user is entering, so it's going to be question 1, and it's the maximum question number is 5, so it is going to be question 1 of 5 coming up. And then we have an action. So this is where the magic happens, actual magic. So we are going to pull the data from Google Sheets. So now the assumption is you already have a Google Sheet, a question database where you are going to have the question, I mean basically question number, question, and maybe I'll just open it up. One second. Um, so you should have it ready, right? Because that will help you to map your custom fields to the Google Sheet column headers. I'm sorry, it's taking a long time. So let it load. I will come to it later on. So now let's come back to the Google Sheets action. So you click on this. So we are going to get random row, technically speaking, because we don't want the questions to come in a sequence. So I'm just doing a get random row, or you can also go with get row. That's entirely up to you. I just went with random row. I'm totally fine with that. So this is the spreadsheet that has my questions, right? So quiz, and this is the worksheet there, right? So all I'm going to do is just going to map. So I already have these many column headers in the sheet. For some reason, the sheet is still loading, unfortunately. Oh yeah, here it is. It's actually a very big database. It's 30,000 rows. So yeah, it's like an infinity quiz. The question database can never get over. Right. So this is how my Google Sheet is set up. So obviously your question database can be entirely different. So because I'm actually using an existing dump of Bible quotes, I'm just repurposing it for my quiz. So this is in actual the same database that I'm using for the Bible daily Bible quotes as well. So now you can see here there is a question. So first of all, there's a question number. There is a correct answer. Obviously, we need a correct answer. And then we have option A, B, C, D, and then there is a question. So you need to have a custom field for each of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and maybe even question number 7. So you need to have 7 custom fields. Actually, if you see here, I have created this custom fields. So you can see uh, what's the correct answer, option A, B, C, D, the question number that was created, and yeah, so question. So this is the text field, that this is numbers, these are all text, right? In fact, I created 2 more extra things, like for number of correct answers. So for example, you're keeping score of how many correct answers, let's out of 5 questions, how many correct answers were answered, right? So I created a custom field for that as well, which is a number. And of course, if I want to track number of repeat users, like how many people are retaking the quiz every day or something like that. So again, these are all extra points for you, like it's entirely up to you the kind of data you want to track, right? So these are the custom fields. Again, you should have created this beforehand, this kind of custom fields. You have the Google Sheet already, um, and you will be mapping it here, right? So correct answer, this is the Google column headers, and this is the custom field. So all these are being uh, mapped. So of course I didn't map question number here because I'm actually doing get random flow. So I am not doing it. But then if you're going to do it sequence, in your case, let's say you are going to do it sequentially, then you'll have to map this question number as well here, and then put this to get row, right? And then lookup column, you have to add a lookup column as well. But now in my case, it's not required. I'm just doing a random row. So once these are mapped, so option A, B, C, D, and I'm also mapping the question, and then I map the correct answer. You just save this, and your questions are done, right? So every time the user comes into the flow, the question number, and then the Google Sheet, it goes to Google Sheet action, the data is collected, and now we are going to show the question. So again, this is a custom field, right? Question. So whatever data that's being pulled from the Google Sheet will show up here. And then, okay, this is interesting. Let me show you this. So what I've done is actually I'm used a user input block. Let me throw myself this side, right? So what I've done here is I've used a user input block because I'm going to have options A, B, C, D, multiple choice option, and then I have to, whatever option you click on it has to be saved to a custom field called chosen answer. I think I missed that chosen answer. Where is it? Yeah, here it is, chosen answer, right? So whatever choice you are making, that has to be stored, because that's when you are comparing chosen answer with the correct answer, right? So now let's look at the user input block. So what I'm doing is I'm choosing reply type is multiple choice, and I'm going to save all the whatever answer is being chosen to the chosen answer is a custom field, right? And then I'm going to enter these options, option A, B, C, D, the custom fields I created. I'm going to enter it here. So unfortunately, it doesn't auto-populate. You have to manually enter these values. I hope the Silverbots team will handle that. I'm not looking at other options, so I'm just going to leave it. There's no skip. There's one thing you can try. So you can do a auto continue after but then yeah, again that is in minutes. So maybe if that is in seconds, we could have given like 30 seconds. So something like a timer based quiz. So that's something I haven't explored, honestly saying. So maybe after this thing I might explore that option, right? So now what happens is whatever options you're given, option A, B, C, D, all the values will be pulled from the Google Sheet and it will be displayed. And whenever the user clicks on any of these things, and all these are quick replies, by the way, they are not buttons, they are quick replies. That's one important thing, because in quiz, like if you have a button, the user can always change it again. But if you have it as a quick reply, once the user clicks on it, the quick reply goes off, right? So the user cannot change the answer later on. But again, it entirely depends on how serious you want the quiz to be. For example, me, I don't want the quiz to be 100% serious thing. It's all about user interaction, because I have got entirely different plans for this quiz, right? So yeah. Yeah, now once this is done, you can just save this so that the user input block is done, and you can see option A, B, C, D. And once the user clicks on this action on reply, it will go to a condition block. So now you are going to compare. So what the condition is like, because whatever action you've chosen, whatever option you've chosen, that value will be stored under chosen answer, right? So you're going to compare your chosen answer, whether it is equal to correct answer. So let's say the answer is 5 and then the chosen answer is 5. So that value will be chosen here. So that's why in the Google Sheet, you need to have a correct answer separately, column separately along with the options, right? Because that way this value will be stored in the correct answer custom field, and we'll be able to compare it in the condition block here. So once the condition is checked, we have two parts, obviously, whether it's a right answer or a wrong answer. So uh, let me just show. If it's a wrong answer, it goes to a wrong answer flow. I'll just show what happens there. But if it's a right answer, then yeah, we are going to show them love symbol. We are going to flying hearts, flying balloons, and all that stuff. And then it goes to the correct answer flow. So let me show what happens in a correct answer flow. Maybe I'll also open up the wrong answer flow so that by the time. So let's look at correct action flow now. So now we know that the user has answered the question correctly, right? So obviously it's time for celebration. So what I've done is I just added 10 GIFs, 10 blocks, uh, saying like this is correct and all that stuff. And I've just given the text like this is mind blowing, this is the correct answer, or maybe like yeah, I mean the text sometimes are repetitive, like not creative enough. Over a period of time, I'll be changing that. So it's a randomizer. Randomly, these things are chosen, images are chosen, and it will show. And then we are going to update the score. So we are going to increase the number of correct answers, this custom field by 1. We are also going to increase the question number by 1, right? Because this is the first question, so we need to go to the second question, right? So this is done. Now we are going to have a condition again. We need to check whether the question number is greater than the max question. So like whether 2 is greater than 5. No, it's not, right? So then which means he goes back into the quiz flow. So see, you can see it actually goes back to the get questions flow, which is actually here. Here, right? So it now here it will say question number 2 of 5 coming up now. So now you know why we are using a custom field there, because it's easier for us. Or now imagine if I have 5 questions, I have to do all these things 5 times. Not practical, right? Right. So now once if yeah, now let's look at the other option. So let's say now you already answered 5 questions, right? So which means now when this thing happens, when this increment happens, it goes to 6. So your question number is higher, greater than max question. 6 is greater than 5, which is true. So now technically your quiz is completed, right? Because you have only 5 questions, so your question number has become 6. The quiz is completed now. So what I'm doing is I'm adding a tag. Again, these are all extra things that I'm doing for my metrics purpose. So it's entirely up to you. I'm also increasing this counter custom field by 1, like number of times completed, where I just want to see like how many people take the test, take the quiz multiple times. Again, these are all vanity metrics, entirely up to you. Now, what I'm going to do again is I'm going to check whether the number of correct answers like a number of questions they answered correctly, is it like 100% technically? Because remember I said if you answer 100% like all the questions correctly, you will get a gift, right? So now let's say number of questions is 5, maximum questions is 5, and number of correct answers is 5, so which means they answered 100% right, which means they are eligible to get a gift. So what happens if it right? So then it says like, wow, yes, mind blowing, Deepak, you answered everything correctly. So I just add one more tag again, got 10 correct. And then I notify admin. Of course, this is all follow-up process. You can do whatever way you want. You can create a rewards flow, and then you just connect it here. It's entirely up to you. That's another reason why I'm adding all these tags, like this tag and here and so on, because in the future, if I want to do any broadcast, or if I want to do any rules-based, AI-based flows, it's easier for me to segment the users. So that's the reason, and it's very important. Like irrespective of this quiz, any other flows, guys, I always say it's always better to tag the users. It's always better, right? So now let's assume that the user max number is not matching here, right? So we'll just give them thing like, we'll just give them a message saying you answered number of questions, like 3 questions correctly out of 5. Now we give them the option, do you want to play the quiz again? If like yes or no, like play tomorrow. If they say yes, set it to 1 and send them back to the question flow again, right? See, go send them to get questions, which will reset the quiz, technically speaking. If they say no, not today, maybe tomorrow, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a notify me. So one-time notifications. So like, do you want to send a reminder? Like most of them will say yes, whether they want to take it tomorrow or not, which is good for us, right? We can always reach out to them, and we can just capture this data here. Like once they notify me, you can just give them, oh, awesome, Deepak, well done, right? So this is the major this thing. Oh yeah, let's look at what happens if it's a wrong answer. I mean, technically it's the same thing. It's just that the correct one custom field will not be updated. So here I did a little bit change. So what I did was in the correct answer flow, I actually added both image and text together, right? So it was not like, it was a very tedious task. But then when I was doing this flow, an idea came to me. So what I did was first in the first randomizer, I actually put the GIF, and then I added another randomizer, and then I had the text. So basically, it's a spinner. So yeah, it will just randomly take a image GIF, and then it will come here randomly take a text, and then it will throw. So it's easier this way. Maybe I'll rewrite the correct answer flow later on. Here, yeah. So as you can see, I'm just increasing question number by 1, and then I'm doing this condition check, and then yeah, it's the same flow again. It's the same flow again. Same flow again, right? So yeah, so that's one more thing I wanted to show you. So as you can see, I said the question block, I actually said I used a user input field, right? That's another way of doing that. So instead of doing this, I actually prefer this way, because you can see my actual question block is just one block here. The another way is this way, which actually I kept it there as a backup fail-safe thing. Uh, So you can see this is a text block. So I'm just going to put the question and say select the answers, and these are quick replies, option A, B, C, and D. But now what happens is we are going to manually, we have to store these values into the chosen answer field. So if it's user clicks on option A, then we are going to say set custom field. So set custom field chosen answer, set the text to, we have to set it option B. So it's a tedious task. You have to do it for all 4 of them, like option C, option D, option B, and option A. And then it will come to your condition here, and then it will do the same condition. So my initial iteration of this quiz flow, I had done that, but then after that, the Silverbots team, they did this awesome update where you can store this value and all that stuff. So like after Mark showed it up in the group, so as like I came immediately here and changed, and you can see how clean it is, how neat it is. So I just kept this part just for reference purpose, but this is my main flow, right? So yeah, the other point we were talking about is uh, enabling and disabling the composer. Let's see what happens now. Let's try that. Even I haven't done it. Now let's say this is the question number. Okay, let's actually add an action. disable message composer, right? Yeah. So what I will do is I'll just add it as a first step, right? So now what happens is when the user enters this flow, this thing will be disabled, and then they'll just go through the quotient and all that stuff. Now, one thing we have to definitely remember is we have to enable it again, right? We have to enable it. So what you can do is we can actually add it in this flow where the question number is greater than maximum thing, right? So basically when the question number is over, when the quiz is over, right? So here, technically we have to do it here. So what I will do is I'll just come here, I will add action enable message composer. Yeah. So now what's going to happen is, uh, as long as the question number is less than 5, less than or equal to 5, the message composer will be disabled. But once the quiz is completed, right? So once the question number is greater than 5, so this tag will be added, custom field is updated, and then we are enabling the message composer. Because if they want to type anything, I'm totally fine with that. Let them do that, right? So let me publish this. We have to do the same thing in the wrong answer flow also. Actually, this is a duplicate stuff. Maybe I have to think of putting all these things in a separate flow, in a common flow, rather than having it in two things, right? So action, enable message composer, and then I'm publishing this. We also need to publish this because we actually have disabled the message composer here, right? So publish. Cool. So we have done that. So we have published all the flows and your Quizbot is ready. So remember, make good use of custom fields and bot fields. It's very, very helpful and it's very easy to maintain. Um, yeah, let me also show you one more thing, the admin flow. Remember I told you like I have a keyword enabled flow where uh, I can change the question numbers through the messenger itself, so I don't have to go come here change it in the bot field from a laptop. I can do it from my mobile itself. The way I've done it, I've actually set it up as admin flow. This is interesting actually. Oops, what happened? Okay, I'm in flows, I should be in flows. Yes, let me do it again. Admin flows. See, I have a set max question number. This is the flow. Let me just show this as well. So this is very helpful for you when you are doing a lot of testing and you have to keep resetting values and all that stuff, right? So every time, rather than coming to the laptop and doing it through the flow builder, you create a flow once and then you set up relevant keywords, but ensure that only you know the keywords, and then you can do that. So it's very, and particularly it's very helpful for me when I'm like building these massive quiz bots. Like when I did the casual games quiz bot, like I literally I was testing it like every 10 minutes, every 15 minutes. So I had to keep resetting all the questions, correct scores and all that stuff. So this was like very helpful thing. So now what I'm doing is actually, like I said, only admins need to do this, right? We don't want the users to stumble upon the keyword and enable it. So first of all, what I've done is I've tagged myself as an admin, as a tag. So if I go to my audience info, it will show that I'm an admin. Now, so for the first step is going to be a check whether tags equal admin. If I'm an admin, yes, then it will say Deepak, enter the max question you want, right? It's a user field actually. It's a user input block. And then I'm going to store it as a number, and I'm max Q number, that's a bot field, it will be stored there. I also have a skip button so that in case I change my mind, I can skip that and I can do this, right? So one thing I can do is actually, let me just modify this a little bit. Let me have a text block and let me pull this below. Yes, what if I need to know what is the current max Q number, right? So let me just Deepak, the current max question set is max. So now I know when I'm entering this, I know what's the current values that's been set up, and then if required, I will just go and change this. See, nice. Sometimes it's helpful when I'm explaining it to others. I know how I can improve this further, and so on. So I'm just going to put a typing delay. Of course, it's me, but still, I prefer it to be a little bit human when I'm interacting with the bot. So now, yeah, now it will say Deepak, the current max question number set is 5. Uh, we don't want it to show twice, right? Enter the max queue number, one for the Bible quiz. Yeah. So now, whatever value is enter, it will be a number reply type, it will be stored here, and this value. I also have set up auto continue, so even if I forget, it will just carry on. So no values will be saved, right? So this is when I'm an admin. Now let's say somebody else stumbled upon this keyword and they want to mess around, right? So obviously might not be an admin because I'm the only admin right now. So it will fail and it will say like, sorry Deepak, you do not have permission for this step. Sorry. And then it will also notify me. So somebody is messing around with the bot. Somebody is messing around with the keyword. So I'll just say like try. So it will say like for example, Deepak tried to reset the max queue number for the Bible quiz, like warning. So maybe somebody's trying to hack. Whoops. So once this is done, it will just say perfect Deepak. The max question number for the Bible quiz now is now set to max question number confirmation, right? It's always good to show those values because you know what's the current value and what value I've updated it to, and so on. Okay, everybody. I think I've covered pretty much all the points what I wanted to show. I'll just publish all these things in case. So yeah, feel free to shoot any questions like in the Facebook group or in the YouTube video and so on. By the way, don't forget, let me also start doing this. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and click the bell icon. Click the bell icon so that you get notified. Yay! See you all guys. Bye bye.